Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience. $7272. That's 888-283-7272. It's a new prescription for I Knew You America. This show, what is about you? It's about whatever you're dealing with. So think about it. Diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, fibromyalgia, anxiety, depression, headaches. The list goes on and on. It seems like when you ask somebody, well, how's it going? And they talk about their health, they can just give you a whole laundry list. Well, that's because our bodies break down over a period of time if we make wrong choices. So what does it come down to? It comes down to making better lifestyle choices. And no one's in control of that but you. I can't do it for you, your friends, your family members, your coworkers. No one can take responsibility for your health but you. So the question is, do you want to get well? That's the key. So the key is, and I really think the toughest part for most people, whenever you're struggling with any kind of health challenge, you have to come down to the decision that you want to get well, that you don't want to stay where you are, you don't want to be stuck where you are, that you want to go to the next level with your health and with your life. And on this show, that's what we want to help you do. You can send me an email. We'll be glad to make it part of the show. And we had Estelle in Detroit, Michigan send an email in. She said, what do I do about dry elbows? No lotion that I use really seems to help. Well, that's because most conditions, especially with cracked and dry skin, don't really come from the outside in. They come from the inside out. So when your gut is healthy, when your body is not deficient in omega-3 fatty acids, a lot of times you won't get the cracking in the skin. Now, our diet's pretty heavy in omega-6 fats. And because of that, we have omega-3 imbalance. And that's why we need greater amounts of eating foods like fish and almonds and walnuts, and all those things are good, and they do contain omega-3s in them, but they do contain a lot of omega-6s. And so because of that, the fish oils tend to be such a superior source of getting our fatty acids, omega-3s in, and we need those to counterbalance that. If you're heavy on omega-6s, you'll get a lot of things like cracking in the heels, those sorts of things. So you'll know that you'll need to crank up the omega-3s to counterbalance that. And that makes a big difference. It makes a big difference for brain chemistry, for instabilities like bipolar, ADHD, depression, anxiety, all those sorts of things. So it can play a big, big role. So those are some key, I guess, symptoms, if you do have any of those conditions, that you might want to start thinking about dealing with something like vitamin D and looking at things like omega-3 fats and increasing those within your diet. Hope that helps. 888-283-7272. Lines are open with questions about your health. Let's go to Bruce. Hi, Bruce.
What I'm worried about now is I have hepatitis C with a fatty liver. And you were mentioning before about almonds, which I'm eating.
Sure.
You mentioned they're bad for viral.
Yeah, they're really high in L-arginine. Mm-hmm. And so the L-arginine, it can be a little bit tricky. But, there's so many other nuts out there, hazelnuts, Brazil nuts, walnuts, cashews. They're not high in arginine. So you just make a switch.
Okay, so get away from the almonds and go to, say, walnuts?
Yeah, walnuts are great.
Walnuts are great.
They're not going to be as high in arginine. But, you got a bigger fish to fry with Hep C. The foods themselves, remember, it's very, very slight on how it can affect things like viral infections. It's all about now, getting the immune system settled down, get the virus to go dormant as much as possible. Are you taking any medication? Do they have you in treatment?
No, I was going to go on, I forgot the name of it. Starts with an I.
Oh, interferon?
Yeah. But the doctor said I balanced myself out pretty well. So they called that off. And now I'm doing, I take a lot of vitamins. I take vitamin C, milk thistle, garlic.
Those are all good.
But no medications.
Yeah, that's good. Well, and just keep in mind that, just like we talked about L-arginine being an amino acid that's found in foods that can stimulate viral activity, L-lysine is the opposite. So L-Y-S-I-N-E, lysine will actually come in and can help. Hep C is a pretty big animal, But L-lysine can come in and help kind of calm things down, chill things out, and help it to go a little bit more on the dormant side. So that might be something you want to look into as well. But your foods, of course, are going to be important. I would look at vitamin D levels, make sure your numbers are between 70 and 90 on a blood test. It's kind of like one of those things, like even they can feel the effects of it, fatty liver and all. Is don't let it get you down. Keep pushing through. Try to keep your normal routine, daily routine, and that does a lot just for your mindset, but it also does a lot in dealing with any kind of health challenge, especially like Hep C. 888-283-7272. Lines are open with questions about your health. Tom, you're next with us. Hi, Tom.
Hello.
How can I help?
My daughter has got what the doctor calls dyspepsia.
Okay.
She's taken Nexium. And I'm wondering if you have any suggestions for something besides that.
How old is she?
She's 22, 21.
Okay. Has she been under a lot of stress? Is this something brand new that just got diagnosed?
It's recent, in the last several months. She is in college full-time and working full-time, so yeah, she's got a lot of stress.
She's got a lot on her, yeah. Is she overweight? Does she eat a lot of junk food?
No, she's been eating healthy for probably a year or so, paying more attention to her diet.
Okay. When you're under a lot of stress, just a couple of things, reactions that can happen in the body. One of two things can happen. In the stomach, we produce hydrochloric acid. It helps break down proteins. It also helps break down fats, and is just really important. If you don't break things down very well because you're lacking hydrochloric acid due to a lot of stress, then you can do a couple of things. One is apple cider vinegar has been used for a long time, and it can help stimulate more hydrochloric acid with the meals. So kind of the old home remedy, if you will, has always been to take like apple cider vinegar with your meals, whether it's a spoonful of it or whatever the bottle will say whenever you go pick it up at a health food store. That's been known to help, and it does work. It does stimulate that. It helps break the foods down and all that. But here's a little trick, and a lot of times we think it's lack of acid or too much, and we don't really know. So you start using Nexium, and which is standard of care. I mean, they're doing the right thing. But I know you're wanting to look in the more natural side. So typically what you do is when you take apple cider vinegar, one of two things will happen. Either she will feel better, or she'll feel worse. If she feels worse, she has too much acid. So there's a whole different protocol for that. But if she doesn't, then you can look at things like betaine hydrochloride. They can get it in supplement form. There are proteolytic enzymes that can be helpful. And so there's several types of supplements. If you go to a health food store, they can walk you through. That can be a great benefit. Grains, I will tell you, like breads and pastas and cereals and crackers, are a big flare-up to people that deal with any type of stomach acid issue. So she might want to look at eliminating certain foods from her diet as she works with her doctor and all that, to come up with a game plan to see if just something as simple as cutting out wheat from the diet could be the root cause.
If you're looking for increased strength, increased endurance, and better recovery, then look no further than an all-natural nutritional supplement called creatine hydrochloride. Concrete is the brand, and it's the most absorbable form of creatine hydrochloride found today. Now, creatine is not just for athletes. You probably heard that before, but creatine hydrochloride is for the everyday person looking to improve their health. Listen, I started taking creatine in college when I was a strength and conditioning coach at Florida State University, and I've taken it since my college years, and it's made a massive difference in my life. Everything in my body, I believe, is functioning better because of creatine. Creatine hydrochloride I've moved over to using Concrete, and it is the best form of creatine on the market. Concrete creatine hydrochloride is available at most Walmart stores and on Walmart.com or any store that carries nutritional supplements. Just make sure to look for Concrete brand creatine hydrochloride and watch your endurance, your strength, and your recovery and your immune system get boosted today.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio online at InShapeNetwork.com.
Our preferred wellness providers are healthcare providers in your area that believe the same way we do. Nutrition and lifestyle-based care, and this network of docs is growing like crazy around the country. Excited to see it grow. So if you need help, you let us know, and our team members will be able to get you to the right place. These docs are unbelievable to see them come on board and make a huge difference in so many people's lives. Cancer and cola caramel coloring. Yep, that's exactly what I said. So you know the dark color that our colas have. If you're a cola drinker, well, they're saying that now lab tests have been commissioned by a consumer group to find that Coke and Pepsi carry a caramel coloring chemical that causes cancer in lab animals. So the chemical is called 4-MI, or actually they call it 4-methylmidazole. And so it forms the caramel coloring. So they don't use natural caramel coloring, but it is a chemical process that involves ammonia. So while toxicology studies show that the 4-MI can cause cancer in lab animals, they say it's not clear if it causes in humans or if it's a human carcinogen. So they're still doing tests on that, but the Center for Science and Public Interest in February of 2011 petitioned that the FDA to ban this kind of caramel coloring, and also wanted the cosmetic additive renamed chemically modified caramel coloring, or ammonia sulfite processed caramel coloring. And you think about this. Here's the deal. All I need to know is that it causes cancer, period. I don't care where it causes cancer. I don't care if it causes cancer in an ant. If it's a chemical that's going to hurt my body, that's all I need to know. I don't need to wait around for a human study. Why would you even want to mess around with that? If it can cause a normal cell to turn abnormal wherever, then that's the last thing I want to put in my body. Don't you agree? So it's just unbelievable. So Coke and Pepsi with the, of course, now you're going to know because an article like this came out. Now they're going to change some things. And it's not, I guarantee you, expense-wise, it is not that big a deal to put in natural caramel coloring if they're going to do that. I don't know why they don't use cola nut extract, because that actually adds the color, and it's made from cola nut, which is where the whole cola thing comes from. Not that you need to be drinking sodas anyway. I'm just saying. So anyway, they said that the CPS or the CSPI commissioned test detected the 4-MI in regular and diet Coke and Pepsi products. And they said there's a millionth of a gram per 12-ounce can, but it's enough to potentially cause danger. They say the major supplier of caramel coloring to the beverage industry already has altered the chemical process used to make this product. The reformulated product will comply with the California benchmark. Even though the company strongly disagrees with the California assessment, the new product will be used throughout the U.S. In an email to WebMD, the FDA says it is working with manufacturers to determine the actual usage of these caramel colors and the amount of 4-MI found in colas and other food products. While the CSPI suggests the 4-MI is causing cancer in thousands of Americans who drink a lot of cola, the FDA says few people should worry. Well, be interesting to see as this comes down the pipeline, just because of the potential. Like I said, if it causes cancer, I don't know about you, I wouldn't want to put it in my body, that's for sure. 888-283-7272 is the phone number. You give me a call. We'll talk about your health and talk about your life. We're going to Eric now. Hi, Eric. Welcome to the show.
I just wanted to give you a little information about myself. First of all, I am a over-the-road truck driver, and I don't get to exercise as much as I need to. I'm 40 years old. I'm 5'9", and I've went in the past 2 years from 160 pounds to 178 pounds.
Okay.
With that said, picking up that sort of weight, a year ago, I didn't have any intestinal problems. Now I'm having, like, gastro problems uncontrollably. And I'm trying to figure out some kind of way of dealing with that. It seems like it's getting worse, and I was told that it could be anxiety or inflammation. And right now, I was given different things to try over the counter. and it seemed like none of those, none of that medication is working.
What have you tried so far? And I guess, did you go to a doctor that recommended this? When you say you've been told, you've been instructed, who's taking care of this so far?
I went to the emergency room at the hospital, and the doctor that was on call at night, he examined me, and he pushed in on my stomach in different places. And he said that I'm not a big guy, but I do have what he called a stomach pudge. And because it's kind of hard a little bit, he said that could be coming from waste. And
well, it could, but a lot of times, if you've been eating poorly, like if your diet's not that good, and you're probably going to have a lot of things going on. Like you could have yeast in the digestive tract. You could not have the right amount of bacteria in the digestive tract. You could have a lot of stress due to your job. That could increase cortisol levels. Most truck drivers, just because of the hours and sitting all day and the stress of driving, have a lot of cortisol. The more cortisol you have, which is a stress hormone that's produced from the adrenal glands, can increase your body and cause it to have more body fat that will store itself around the midsection. So, I mean, that could be one of the reasons that you have that little pudge you're talking about, and just eating a poor diet. So, I mean, there's a whole protocol. And if you're on the road as a truck driver, that we'll need to kind of get rounded up. So I'll tell you what, we'll go into this break. We'll come out. We'll talk about a game plan when you've got digestive issues and don't really know what to do, kind of the root cause of it, and what to do from that. Because if you've gone to you went to the ER, but even though you've gone to more of an urgent care type situation and they just gave you some baseline things to do, I do think you need to follow it with more of a family physician that can kind of coach you along the way. So we'll talk about that in just a moment when we come back. More Healthy Talk Radio, just a moment.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
.272, talking to Eric, going to the break as a truck driver, and just looking for really coming up with a game plan, dealing with some digestive issues. Never really had those before. They've kind of come on here recently, and the doctors really don't know really what it is. Got a little kind of a pudge going in the front, a little spare tire area, but more in the front. And been to the doctors, not a whole lot of answers, and you're really wanting to come up with a game plan. When you're driving a lot, Eric, and you've got that truck driving lifestyle, diet is typically not the best. So, I mean, would you say, are you the kind of guy that packs your food, carries it with you, or do you just do what you can when you're on the road?
I just do what I can on the road. I stop in a restaurant, so I just grab something that I can quickly get in and out of a location. It depends on the amount of time I have spare.
Okay, I got it. Well, I think you're at a point now, you're 40, and so you're at a point in life now where, in your 20s and 30s, you can kind of do what you want a lot of times and get away with it for the most part. But once you start cracking that 40 number, the body will start changing. If you don't start treating it right over the long period of time, and you make poor choices for a period of time, then it'll start letting you know it's not real fired up about how you've been handling things, if you know what I mean. So the best thing to do typically is to get started on a good anti-inflammatory diet, and that's, of course, similar to the one in my book, Empowering Your Health. I think that's a great way to go, just because it gives you a good guideline. Everything is real simple to follow. You'll do equal amounts of lean-quality proteins, like chicken, fish, beef, or eggs. And, of course, on the road, you're not going to get everything organic, but at least you can make better choices. I mean, you can eat baked chicken over fried chicken. You can get baked fish over, fried items. You can do broccoli instead of French fries. I mean, just common sense. I mean, even at truck stops, places like that, you can actually, even though the vegetables may not be the best, you can still get some decent food items. So it's about really coming up with a game plan and then having good, healthy snacks with you in the road so you're not craving a bunch of junk. You can have packed fruit with you. You can have all the nuts, and you just can mix nuts in a bag where you can grab a handful of those, drink plenty of water, and have fruit and that sort of thing for snacks. I mean, there's a lot you can do to come up with a game plan. But in my book, I've got all the foods listed out, the ones that will kind of deal with more inflammation in the body, the ones that will take it out. So there's several things to do. On the exercise side, I think it's important too. Cortisol is that stress hormone I was talking about that when it gets elevated, it can really put on the pounds around the spare tire area. And if you don't manage cortisol very well, I mean, if your sleep hours are off and you don't eat healthy and you're not exercising, it can really throw them. And it can cause you to have abrupt sleep patterns. It can cause body fat gain. It can cause your brain cells to decline. So there's a lot that it really can do to the body. So cortisol phosphatidylserine is a supplement they make, and it has been shown along with green tea to really block excess cortisol production and be a real asset to your health. So you might want to look into some of that. I mean, it's very cheap, inexpensive. The health food stores have it and all that kind of deal, and it can be really helpful. So a couple of things to think about. But coming up with a solid game plan, whether you pack your food or you just pack snacks with you, and that's really a good way to go. And working on the cortisol, you can get some stress testing done, saliva or blood testing with your physician, and they can check. But cortisol typically is the culprit. And you might, again, have some yeast-related issues. When you cut out grains and you cut out dairy products from your diet, you can notice a big difference immediately. I mean, literally within a week, whether or not you had food allergies or not. Because if your energy levels go up and you feel better, bloating and all that sort of thing goes down in the stomach, then you know you're probably dealing with some kind of allergic reaction to certain foods. So looking into all that, I think, and coming up with a solid game plan will be key. Carry some little bands with you. Walk once a day minimum for 20 minutes in a parking lot. Just keep walking. Just take a long trip around and really push it, because it's one of the best things you can do for circulation, for burning calories, and for keeping your weight where you need to. So that little 18 pounds that you gained, that could be one of the root causes, just because you're not getting the exercise that you need. And maybe at 32, your body could metabolize everything, but now at 40, it can't. Also get the blood work done, check on your testosterone. Low testosterone can be a key too. Of course, that results from low dopamine. The two go hand in hand. Hope that helps. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. You can also go online. Shoot me an email. I'll be glad to make it part of the show. Let's go to Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hello, sir. Thank you for taking my call.
You got it. What's going on?
All right. I have got a question. It's about weight loss.
Okay.
Never had a problem with the weight till about a year and a half ago. I'm 27, by the way. Always been an in-shape guy. I'm still a very active person, but over the past year and a half, I have went from about an in-shape 210 to about 280 in about a year and a half, and I don't know what I'm doing different.
So let me get this right. So you're exercising the same, you're eating the same, living the same lifestyle, and you've had this major increase in weight gain.
The only thing that has changed is my ability as to when I can eat, because I changed job positions about a year ago. And the job that I have now, I don't have the ability to eat when I want to. I can eat breakfast very early in the mornings. I work, probably 10 hours a day. So my lunch break usually falls between 12 and 2.
Okay.
And I don't have the ability to eat supper again until I get off work, and that's usually about 8:30. So I'm eating 2 hours before I go to bed. And my problem is I don't have the ability to eat before then. So what can I've tried, not getting, full meals at that time of the day and trying to grab, power bars or something to eat to kind of make me not so hungry when I get off. But
yeah, I understand. What about your exercise routine? If you're working 10 hours a day, when do you exercise?
Usually I do that sometimes in the evenings, when I get home, or on my off days. I love to mountain bike, so I'm either mountain biking or jogging. This is going to sound weird. I still feel like I'm a pretty in shape person because I don't have a problem hopping on a mountain bike and riding 20 miles. It doesn't, I don't get completely exhausted doing that. I can go run 3 miles with no problem. I'm just overweight.
I would get some blood work done first and foremost, just because you want to check out all your hormone levels. Pituitary gland is probably just not even barely functioning. That's what produces our growth hormone levels. And when the anterior pituitary gland is not working well, that's kind of the master gland for all the other hormone systems. And that's why it's good to have that checked out and just getting some basic blood work. I'd check testosterone, check your thyroid, make sure everything's okay. A lot of times they'll just do a basic run on the thyroid, make sure it's all right. But I would check for autoimmune, which really it's called TPO antibodies or thyroid peroxidase antibodies. That way they'll see if there's a potential issue within the thyroid that could be causing it to go slow. So those kind of items can be very helpful, and a lot of times can be a secret reason why somebody has a sudden weight gain issue. Now, if you're working 10 hours a day, you definitely need to be eating small meals throughout the day. I would recommend meal replacement shakes at lifestyleresearch.org. There is a food balance meal replacement, and it's hormone-free and antibiotic-free. So the whey protein that they use is probably the cleanest on the planet. And it's unbelievable. It's called Food Balance. You can go to lifestyleresearch.org and see that. It's to my opinion, it's the best. So those are a couple things. So, you could put that in a shaker bottle, and when you're at work, all you got to do is just fill it up with water, shake it down the hatch, and literally in 30 seconds, you're back at work. And those are a couple of ways to get some nutrients in. You could do bags of nuts and fruit. I'm a big fan of those. However, you can do that as fast as you can, or eat it in 5 minutes. But taking those small little eating breaks, you have to carve that out. So whoever you work for or whatever, you've got to have small breaks like that where you can put the food down. It's just a matter of discipline for yourself, and just packing the foods maybe on your off day. You're saying maybe that's when you get everything together for the week, your snacks and everything, so you've got everything you need. But at the end of the day, that all of those items are really important, because you need to make sure that you can get in a routine. It's about keeping constant calories coming in, the good kinds, and it keeps your metabolism revved up. It keeps all the hormone systems working great. If you go, and this is a great example too with what you just said, if you go hours and hours every day and don't eat, like for example, you just eat maybe a small breakfast and don't eat again until late at night, and you have this long day that goes by, your body goes into a starvation mode. Even though it's less calories, it will slow the body down to a screeching halt. And it's incredible what it can do. I've seen people gain weight that didn't want to. They were working so hard, and they just felt like if they didn't eat, that they would lose the weight. And yeah, that is true. At some point, you will go past that, but you're going to burn up all your muscle tissue. And then you'll end up being a skinny fat person, if that makes any sense. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you get everything balanced, to make sure all the hormone systems are where they need to be. So FDA rejects a new combo drug for cholesterol. Go figure on that one. New combination cholesterol-lowering drug has been rejected. The drug was called MK653C. It included a combination of Pfizer's cholesterol-lowering drug Lipitor and Merck's cholesterol drug Zetia, or Zadia, as we say it. So the two medicines work in totally different ways to lower cholesterol. The Associated Press reported, but the FDA put the can on the drug, so it's not going to go through. I've got a great idea if you're dealing with cholesterol. Whatever your doctor's telling you, of course, stick with it, but maybe mention to them about eating eggs. They're going to think you're crazy, but eating whole eggs every single day, one of the best ways to lower cholesterol, because it has two components in the egg yolk, choline and lecithin. Go do some research on those two words, and you will be shocked at what nature has already, and God has already put in eggs to be healthy for us and to maintain healthy cholesterol levels. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to chow? It's time for Keto Chow. When it comes to eating healthy, the keto diet has become one of the nutrition leaders in optimizing health, losing unwanted weight, and reaching your health and wellness goals. No extravagant cooking, no long kitchen cleanup, and most importantly, especially for me, It's convenient. Just put quality Keto Chow powder in a bottle, add some heavy whipping cream or your favorite fat, a little water, and boom, shake it up and you're ready to chow. Keto Chow tastes amazing. So make Keto Chow easy for you and your family today with Keto Chow. Let's go chow. Visit Keto Chow online at ketochow.xyz. That's ketochow.xyz.
Connect with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
Lines are open, 888-283-7272. Welcome back to the show. Our preferred wellness providers are healthcare providers in your area that believe the same way we do. So if you need help with nutrition and lifestyle-based care, just call the number 888-283-7272. Go online, you can check out all about it. But these are docs in your area that are in our network that believe the same way we do, nutrition and lifestyle-based care. And they can really take you from where you are in your current state of health to where you need to be. So a lot of great folks, and it's growing across this country as the show's growing, the network is growing, and it's incredible to see the great folks that are coming on board. Tammy, you're next with us on the show. How can I help?
In December, I had a problem with my throat. All at once, it felt like a Charlie horse was in the left side of my throat. And I actually went to the emergency room because it happened 3 times. They told me it was a gland in my throat that produced saliva that had become stopped up, and I still have problems. And when I open my mouth, I can only see my right tonsil.
Okay, and so did they tell you to do anything, or they just?
The doctor that I saw that night just kind of laughed it off and said to get some sour candy and hold it to the left side of my mouth, and then it would help produce the saliva that I needed to swallow, because I couldn't talk, I couldn't swallow anything. And I actually thought I had something lodged in my throat.
Sure. Oh yeah. And this happened how long ago?
It happened December the 6th, this past December.
And so how are you doing now?
Well, I have I can tell it every day that it doesn't feel right. I have some days where that it's difficult to swallow without me wetting my throat, drinking something to it feels, even now I can tell that it's not right. And if I put my 2 fingers under my jaw next to the jawbone, it's right there.
Okay. So that's typically a parotid gland.
Yes.
And that gets backed up. Yeah. Parotid gland can get backed up. And that's why I told you the old sour candy deal is kind of an old way to handle that. And there's nothing really they can do. So he's right on that. So it just, does it still feel like does it feel hard, or
no?
Is it sore?
Tender. Just tender. Uh-huh.
And have you been doing anything sour to keep working on that area?
Occasionally. I really don't like candy.
Yeah, you don't really need to do that. Lemons work very well.
I don't like to hold it in my mouth because of my teeth. So if I had to, I do. The first couple of weeks, I did sour candy continuously almost.
You don't want to do the candy.
It's when I need it.
Yeah, one thing that works really great when you get a blocked parotid gland, I'm not a big fan of the whole sour candy thing. That's just something that, you hear a lot of family docs will tell you, and it's not a bad thing. It's just, I'm like you, I don't like getting all the sugar. So if you do a whole lemon squeezed, actually 2 whole lemons in about 8 ounces of water, it's a lot. But you do that and kind of drink that slowly. Drink it every morning. It'll do 2 things. One, it helps push and detoxify the liver. It stimulates phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification. So which is a great thing. And so you do that in the mornings, but also it's going to really, really work on those parotid glands, get them secreting saliva and that sort of thing. So the other question I had, though, I'm curious, is it only in your throat and that one side that bothers you, or does your whole mouth get really dry?
My whole mouth does get dry, and I really don't realize it until. And I work like the guy before. I work 10 and 12-hour days, and I can be working, and all at once it's just difficult to swallow, and that's when I realize I've got to wet my throat.
Okay. I would go back and do they want to do any testing at all? Or do they just kind of leave it at that?
He just kind of laughed it off. It was an older doctor, and I was really frightened. But after it went through that, it was like a Charlie horse in my throat. And, after it eased up and I calmed down, and maybe a good hour later in the emergency room, I got my voice back. He came in a couple of times, and he just laughed it off and just said, stop on the way home and get you some sour candy. You'll be good.
And it has gotten better since, really? Well,
it has, to the point where that I don't have that Charlie horse feeling, because when that happened, I had to tilt my head back, and you could feel a knot there.
But now it's just more subtle. Now it's just more subtle, and it bothers you.
I'm sorry?
Now it's just more subtle.
Yes, and always there. I can tell it all the time.
Yeah, I would actually go and maybe see someone else, find a different family doctor and go see them, just to chat with them so they can examine it. Again, this is one of those things where we can talk about it, and I can tell you a lot of, might be's and could be's. But when it comes down to that, I'm really comfortable. I think you ought to just see it, maybe a different doctor, get a different take on it, and let them do just a basic exam. They may do some blood work and all that. But that can play a big role. There's some conditions with dry mouth and all you may want to have them test for, Sjögren's, but that's a shot in the dark. I mean, there's a lot of other symptoms that go along with that. It's kind of an autoimmune-based reaction in the body. So anyway, I wouldn't really worry too much about something of that extreme, but it is one of the main symptoms with what you're talking about. But again, if he wasn't worried about it, I would just find someone else just to give you peace of mind more than anything. And sometimes it takes time to shake out. Look at the lemon water. Lemon water will help tremendously. Plus, it's got a lot of other great health benefits. But it's another hour in the charts. I'm your health and lifestyle coach. Go tell one person something you learned on this show, and together we can change the health of our friends, our families, and our communities. You're listening to the show that helps you get well, stay well, and live well. We're diagnosing hope one person at a time.
Did you know you could listen to the ASA RX audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the ASA RX audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.